Many are asking the same question: is Marvel a complete disaster? In order to answer this question, we will have to take a look at the current state of the company. While it is easy to look at the current crop of box office failures, a deeper synopsis will also be needed. While a lack of box office success is definitely a good measuring rod, so is the overall health of the organization. This means looking at both Disney and current executives. Currently, it is not just Marvel that is taking a massive hit. Disney as a whole is also suffering. In fact, they are struggling so much that Bob Iger took back the leadership from former CEO Bob Chapek. On the other side of the Disney spectrum, Lucasfilm is also in a spot of bother. With all of this taken into consideration, it is easy to understand why superhero fans are losing hope. Questions about the current state of Marvel have been in full force over the last couple of days. With news breaking that Marvel Studios veteran Victoria Alonso left the company, many are asking why. Victoria Alonso in many ways helped build up the studio we know today. She is one of the earliest members of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with a tenure running back 17 years. Under her leadership, she co-produced many classics, including the first 2008 Iron Man movie that set off the whole MCU. She was also actively involved in all the films that followed, including the 2011 Avengers movie that brought in over $1 billion. With a resume this strong, you have to wonder why Victoria Alonso is leaving the company now. In typical internet fashion, there are many questions about her sudden Marvel exit. Many wonder if she left on her own terms or if she was asked to leave due to a slew of recent box office disappointments. Alonso is not just a normal executive. The title of co-producer of all top Marvel films is no small feat. While it is easy to blame her for all the recent box office failures, you also need to give her credit for all of the box office successes. It will not be fair to simply look at phases 4 and 5 of Marvel while ignoring her role in phases 1 to 3. Unfortunately, within the film industry, you are only as good as your last movie. You can't live on former glory forever. If you do not innovate and recreate, you will find yourself in a spot of bother. With that said, let's take a look at where it all went wrong for Victoria Alonso. As most know, in today's Hollywood, it is no longer enough to just be an actor or producer. You also need to be a political figure who fights for social justice. While there are certain social issues that I also believe in, I also understand that people do not want to be preached to during a movie. People expect actors to act and producers to produce. It takes a special type of narcissism to think that people want to know your views on a certain social issue while shooting the latest superhero movie. Unfortunately, Hollywood just cannot help itself, and Victoria Alonso is no exception to this. During Disney's fight with Florida, Alonso was a very outspoken advocate against the Don't Say Gay bill. This fight was so disastrous for Disney that Bob Chapek lost his job as CEO because of it. Additionally, she also holds a few other views that are quite controversial. A while ago, Alonso found herself in quite a bit of controversy when she stated that the X-Men was an outdated name. Rumors have been making the rounds for a while now that Marvel was looking to rent the rights of X-Men from Sony. This deal will work similarly to what they did with Spider-Man, which is also a Sony property. Alonso was very outspoken against the idea of X-Men because of the fact that it has the word men in it. Instead, she called for a name change, stating that it should be rebranded to the Mutants. Currently, both Disney and Marvel share one vision. Both Marvel CEO Kevin Feige and Disney CEO Bob Iger are asking for one thing: quality over quantity. While we all know that won't happen, it is still very telling of the thinking behind these top executives. With this in mind, many are speculating that the recent slew of box office disappointments is behind the sudden exit of Victoria Alonso. Now, the next question becomes, what can Marvel do to pull itself out of this current slump? Sadly, there is no easy answer. While we know that quantity over quality is a contributing factor to the current state of Marvel, we also know that it won't stop. Large corporations unfortunately do have the mentality of forever growth. They expect more money every year, and when that does not happen, they will sacrifice anything to make up those numbers. If you averaged $1 billion per movie last year and now only average $500 million, well then we have to now produce twice as much. At this point, Disney has a movie in theaters almost every month. Additionally, they will have to stop preaching. This means no more activism. This is another thing that we know will never happen. As long as they continue to favor pandering over production, the alienation of fans will continue. While many are still asking the question, is Marvel a complete disaster? There is also another important question. What is next for Marvel Studios? If you look at the current slate of movies, I think that will be obvious. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania just released a couple of months ago. A big upcoming project is The Marvels. All of these movies does lead us to one logical conclusion. Marvel is building toward the next Avengers movie. With this in mind, one does wonder what another Avengers movie will look like. With most of the original cast gone, it is not impossible to rebuild. However, it is going to be difficult to continue the story with the current crop of new faces. You have Captain Marvel, who will be leading the group, Alongside her, you have the other Marvels including Miss Marvel and Carol Monica Rambeau. Then you have Letitia Wright as the all-new Black Panther. You then also have the Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Cassandra Lang. Along with them, you will have the all-new female Iron Man known as Ironheart. Alongside, these heroes will also be Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. There are also whispers of She-Hulk, but I do not even want to think about that. With all of these new superheroes, it is going to be interesting to see where Marvel takes the universe next. Rebuilding everything is going to be hard. While not impossible to do, it will take a massive shift in mentality. Sadly, I am just not sure if the current leadership has what it takes to do that.